the Why Not Us podcast with your host Seneca and your host Rahmere.
Yeah.
And we are so glad to be back. Thank you guys for continuously always supporting us. We love that you're just loving on this podcast and you're supporting us. It feels so good, right?
No, it's definitely like I think I say this every week, but like we wouldn't even thought like the amount of traction and reaction that we've been getting from this would be anything near what it is. Absolutely. Like for sure. And I think people genuinely like this podcast. Absolutely. Like I just can't even, that's it. Point blank period. I think people really actually like it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so continue just to keep liking and telling your friends and your family and et cetera, because we are excited to continue to showcase and bring you more. So for that, we're just going to move into our highs and our lows.
Okay.
Do you want to start with your high or do you want to start with your low?
Ooh, so I just had to start in general. All right, bet.
I did kind of put you on the spot. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So this week, let's go into my highs and lows this week. I want to start with, I'm going to do regular. I'm going to start with my low and go to my high.
Okay.
My low is basically, I think it's just been the change of weather and just like the seasons. It's kind of, it's in this weird period where it's like not as cold throughout the day, but it's like cold in the morning and it's like cold. Like, I don't know. I feel like, hey man, you're going to be cold to stay cold, respectfully.
Exactly.
Like, we got certain days where it's hotter than the other ones and then certain days it's cold than the other ones. Like, I just need consistency. That's a little minor low, but that's where I'm at right now. And then my high is just that I've been brainstorming and thinking about some ideas creatively. And, I think it's been a kind of a little renaissance up here in my head. Like a little, I'm excited. I'm just excited to bring forth some new cool stuff. I've been inspired and writing down and I got some plans in the works. So that's my highs and lows.
I love that. And they are definitely in the works. And I'm excited for that. So I'll start with my low. I'm a little copycat off of you with the weather, but I feel like for me, it's not about it being cold and feeling good. To me, it's like the snow. Like if you're gonna snow, just snow.
Yeah.
Like it just feels so like shy. Like this, don't be shy. Like if you're gonna snow, just shy. Come snow.
On. Sit down.
Right, and I think I'm just tired of that because I feel like we haven't had like real snow or like a lot of snow in like a minute. So it's frustrating because I'm like, if you're going to snow, just snow. Like if everything gonna close, just close. But yeah, that's been my low. The high that I have for me is I'm getting back into a lot of my individual projects and hobbies. Sometimes it's like really, you kind of catch yourself like falling back or falling off from like the things that you enjoy that brings you pure joy. And sometimes you find when you don't go get to the things that you enjoy, you like kind of feel depleted and like your energy is like, hey, I used to do this. Why am I not doing that anymore? Or I used to be into this, or I used to like, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm slowly getting back into actually actively being, in my own hobbies. And it feels really good because nobody can take that away from you.
No,
your
can't.
Hobbies and
who you are and what you're into and things that you're interested in.
Exactly. Your individuality. So that's what I've been enjoying and I'm super excited.
That's dope because some people, they stay in that section or that phase where they don't know who they are or they just give up on hobbies. Like you ever like talk to your mom or any adult and they're just like, oh yeah, I used to do this. You'd be like, well, what happened? You can bring it back or you can do that or whatever. Yeah. Like it's really good that you seen like, hey, an opportunity like, hey, let me just get back to what I kind of still into. That's
and tapping into new stuff. It's always cool.
New hobbies, new opportunities, facts.
Yeah. So next we're gonna go ahead and talk about, I know it's your favorite topic or segment, and it's my favorite segment, the icon and the eye. So who should go first?
I can go. I just feel like it's the
go
first show for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But for this episode, my icon of the eye is someone by the name. Their Instagram name is Paintings by Mirror. Okay. Just according to their bio, looks like they were here in Philly first, and they moved to LA. But their artwork is like phenomenal. Like I'm definitely someone who would love to have like art pieces in my house someday. But like if I would have any ones, it'd be like stuff like his because it's just really like that. If you don't know, like check out his artwork. He does commissions and everything like that. So I always tell y'all, like, I feel like as an artist, I feel like this might be controversial.
Okay. Ooh.
Being an artist, illustrator, artist, painter, those are some of the highest forms of creativity to me. Because I just feel like all you need is just a tool. Literally, you just need a brush with paint on it. And you can make that. That's kind of like,
excuse me,
a lot of other, fields you probably need. Editing software to bring forth your art, or you just need audio software or some different plugins, and like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't make it less special, but it just makes it a little, like, it's like a little bit help. I just feel like artistry, that's the highest point. But
you're right. Because think about it.
Yeah.
Like people, like I don't know if you ever seen like glass art. They like take, like think about the different forms of like how people create, like they paint and they put together. That
you got your hands talent. And just doing it. That's fire.
The eye for me this week. Her name is Aaliyah Weston, and I think one day I stumbled upon her TikTok, and she's an impressionist. So she does different people, like Beyonce. Like that's where a lot of her videos got viral. Like if Beyonce went viral for something, the next day or the next week, she would do that same video, and she'll use props or Beyonce's bodyguard. She sounds like just like Beyonce.
Sound like her, okay.
Seriously. And she also does people like Zendaya or, the guys from the brothers from the Boondocks. It's just really, really cool. She's really creative. She's also a dancer, an all around artist. And she just she does different like little segments on her TikTok. Where she's into different journeys and, whether it's health journeys. Right now, her journey is her artist journey, and she's introducing, just the world to her. Like, sometimes when you do impressions of people get like blurred into like, oh, do this impression next and do this impression next. Yeah. So I feel like
it's easy to get stuck in like a pigeonhole.
Right. And now I think that she's really setting up a precedent of like, this is who I am. This is, me. And I think she's cool. I think she's dope and she's super talented. Out to her. Yeah. She's cool. That's and cool. I like seeing people do different things.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes when you scroll on Instagram, you see like the same kind of things, and there's people that do impressions, but I'm always so used to like the men doing impressions. Sometimes like I don't really see a lot of young women do certain impressions. So it's really cool that she, has it down. She has it down packed. Yeah.
That's fire. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Next, we're going to go ahead and dive into our next segment, which is our main topic.
The nitty-gritty.
Yes. Today, we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome and what that looks like. How does it feel? And how does it affect your art?
It does. Yeah. It truly does. I think just firstly, I can say like the thing about imposter syndrome is it's like terrible because it's a very big catalyst of your memory. Yeah. You kind of forget all the things you've done. You kind of forget who you are, what you're capable of because of what's not happening now. Like you done so much. You came so far. Just the path of your art, and like you just forget like who you are really along the way. Yeah. I don't know why it happens, but it does. It truly affects your art.
Yeah, it's like almost you feel everything that you've ever known, everything that you felt is like flushed away by your own like overwhelming thoughts. Or maybe there's one segment in your life where it's not going well and you just naturally equate all of that stuff with like everything of who you are. And it's like your brain playing tricks on you. It's like being in a fun house where like you look in the mirror and you don't see your authentic self. You see like everything that people probably told you that you never would be, that you doubt for yourself, that you see other people doing, comparisons. You just see so much negativity in this mirror. That's so not true.
You said comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, it is.
So when you feel like it's the most prevalent time that imposter syndrome like kind of creeps up on you, I feel like it's like when you haven't been active in your creative field in a while. I think that's a really good example. I just feel like it's like, sometimes life happens. You kind of like, priority shift, time slot, with the amount of time you have to do certain things changes. Yeah. So now it's like, you may have to put down your, your hobby, put down your passion, put down your art for a little while. And I think it just comes when you try to pick it back up again, and you're like, dude, like, who am I? You kind of lose. Am I good? You're right. Am I good at this anymore? Or like, have I ever been good at this?
Yeah. Like, that's like one of the, like, I feel like that's the best example. Another I feel is, I guess when you are in your creative space and something is like, right, you're looking at whatever art form that you just created, and you're like, okay, this is good, right? And I just feel like it's like validation, I guess, when you're not getting enough of the validation. And then maybe, I guess, from yourself or from the outer world, or when we seek that validation from the world. And if we're not getting what we're looking for, you go, well, I thought this was good, right? And it's you're like, no, this is terrible. No, this is, and it's for me, like, when it's just like, I guess, not enough validation, and you just look at something too much, and then you pass it along to your friend, and you pass it along to your sister, and you pass, and you're like, is this right? Is this how you see it? And if somebody doesn't see your art the way you see it, it's like, it's terrible. It sucks. Throw it away. Rip it up. So, yeah, I feel like that's really common too. And like you just said, comparison is the thief of joy. When you start, if you're in two different paths, or sometimes the similar path with someone, and they're doing something a specific way and you're doing another way, their way is getting more, views and more numbers or more like accolades. You just automatically think you're doing the way that you're doing it is the wrong way, and just terrible. So the comparison thing for sure. Yeah,
I feel I kind of relate more to the first example that you said. I think, but it's less and less about people's validation. I don't necessarily think I look at people's validation in that sense, in the early stages of my art. I personally feel like it's my own validation that I chase, and I don't know if that sounds like egotistical or something. No. But like, I think my imposter syndrome just comes from my own self, where let's say I'm working on a project or editing something. I'm like, this don't look good. I don't think this look good or whatever. And I guess, all right, so I guess it's not necessarily saying I'm not looking for validation. But if I'm sharing it with my friends, or I'm going to share a project with you or whatever, I'm not necessarily looking for, is this good? I'm looking for, what can I do to make this good? So I guess the thing is different. I guess it's because I'm already self-doubting myself. I need your help to make me not self-doubt myself, as opposed to, no, it does look good, because I don't want to be strung along and just be like, bro, I know it don't look good.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the person that needs to be convinced is myself. Yeah. I feel like people will be like, yo, this is good. To me, that's not enough. I need to be like, yo.
Okay, yeah, and that's why it's not egotistical that you said that, because that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not, the validation can come from either yourself or from others. Like, and that just depends what type of person you are and where you seek things from. But a lot of times when you go to sleep by yourself, you're alone with yourself, and you just go, well, I don't know why I did that. I don't know how, even in life, I know me, like, sometimes if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'll be like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? So imagine in art form, it's like insane. Yeah. Like, so many doubts. And I'll probably, like what you said, I might have to go to somebody and be like, am I tripping? Like, be honest.
Like, tell it to me straight.
Yeah. So it is difficult to figure out also what is real and what is like just like your perception of what you're just telling yourself at that moment. Because like, what if you're in your early stages of your art and you're critiquing super early? Like, it's not even in the form, it's like in like this baby stages where it's okay for it to be a little messy. It's okay for it to be a little rough draft, if you say. And we judge things too early. So, I don't know.
I think it's just finding that kind of like zone where the project is good enough to be let out to the world, or like let out to your own opinion before you're crushing it. Like, all right, obviously you haven't touched something in a little while, right? You pick it back up for the first time. It ain't going to be the same. It's like, you at natural life, if you don't use something, you start to lose it. Like languages, times tables, different, we took Spanish in college. Like, how many Spanish words you still know now? when you're not truly in it, you're not using it, you naturally start to lose it. And that's with everything, even your passions. You know? Even your goals and your desires. If you're not actively chasing it for a little bit, it's gonna fall off a little bit. So your first steps back into that, it ain't gonna be the best. Yeah. I think you just gotta know, like, hey, you gotta set like a little side goal. Yeah. And be like, hey, if what I can do right now is just half of what I know I used to do, that's a great day to me.
It's half the battle.
If it's, you know what I'm saying, great day to me. If I just a fraction of what I used to be, perfectly fine.
Now, what if it's you? When do you think imposter syndrome creeps in? When you are readily, picking it up. When it's not like, oh, I put this down for a little bit. It's like, oh, I know how to do this. Oh, I've been doing this for this, and this. And imposter syndrome creeps in. Where do you think that stems from, of like, when it's not like, okay,
I personally think that when you're truly like, you're constantly in your craft. Like, this is not like you don't have any fall off, or you don't have any gaps.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like imposter syndrome creeps in when two things. Either you personally didn't get the results you wanted, so you, like I said before, you probably use numbers or views as validation, reactions as validation. You didn't get the validation you wanted from your art, or you're in a constant state of trying to better your art. So I feel like I might fall in line with that side a little bit, because like each time I do something, I want to do better and better and better and better than I was before. Yeah. So like, I might feel a little bit of imposter syndrome, like, can I really be better? This is not like how I was before. And come on, I'm you're better than that. Like, even though I don't have any gaps, like I'm still constantly in my creativity. There's not any gaps. It's just really you're really kind of comparing your last thing to your thing now. Yeah. Which I don't know if it's healthy or not. I just know that I do it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's when imposter syndrome creeps in sometimes that way too.
It's natural to, and that's why I said, like, to me, like, your biggest person that you should look up to is yourself, is like your past work, or like the things that should inspire you creatively, is like going back to look at something that you did and like, that's cool, but how can I make it cooler? Or how can I do it? And like, that's why, for instance, for me personally, like on a musicality level and just like a life level, one of my is myself, but I also look at people like Beyonce or like other people. I look at their work ethic, and I look at how and other people in the world, friends I know, a lot of people in the world, their work ethic is so like, how even yourself, your work ethic is so like continuing to go up and up and up. And you might have that imposter syndrome, but guess what? The public may never know, because it's like, okay, I did this, but guess what? I'm going higher. And it's just something about that work ethic and knowing that it's okay to look at your past things and compare.
You're always chasing that kind of like perfection, that greatness that's never achievable.
Yeah, it's not the best. But
it's a cool little hamster wheel thing. Like, okay, whatever keeps you going, I guess.
It's not its best, but I guess it's about the work ethic. I think it's also the mindset. If you have a mindset that you're going to be a perfectionist, that has to alter at some point. But if you're like, my work ethic constantly needs to get better, then that's a different mindset, I feel. And as far as the imposter syndrome, I feel like that sometimes never goes away.
I think
you can push it.
Yeah, I don't think it goes away. I think you just learn to respond to it differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you just learn to respond to it differently. Like, I think you just, instead of sitting in it and self-doubt, and because some people face imposter syndrome and just give up and just be like, oh, well, nah, I tried that. I don't think that's me. Yeah. Or, I know I did it one time. I might be a fluke. It's just whatever. I think if you come across those doubts and, you forget who you are, I personally say use that as fuel. Absolutely. Use that as just like, no, but I'm going to remember who I am. Yeah. And they are too. Yeah. Just be like, be on your bully a little bit. Yeah. Like, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I sometimes look at imposter syndrome as like writer's block. like kind of being stuck or not knowing, or sometimes with writer's block, I compare the two because it's so up its alley. Like when you write something, whether it's for yourself, whether it's creatively, whatever, and you're like, I can't figure out what to write, or do I know how to express this, or do I know how to, it's the same thing. It's like this constant back and forth conversation, invisible with yourself. Like, am I good at this? Do I know what I'm doing? And then eventually it ends. It has to come to a point where you were just saying, being like, you know what, I am good at this. You know what, I can do that. I'm gonna put that aside, because no matter what, you're always gonna have your own like worst critic, best judge and worst critic to me. So you're always gonna have that constant like, is this good enough? No, it's not good enough. Is this good enough? No, it's not good enough. But you have to like push that to the side and keep like continuing to go to the top, rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
You know.
So what instances for you personally do you feel like makes you feel like, hey, you know what, I'm good at this? Is it like people's reactions? Is it people telling you, like close friends or like loved ones, just like people you value closely telling you, hey, you're good at this? Is it proficiency? Like is it you moving quickly and you feel like, hey, I'm kind of getting this? Is it your own opinions? Is it outside opinions? Like, what about for you?
For me, it feels good to get the validation, but I feel like the reason why I'm showing you, I mean, if I want criticism, I'm like, hey, is this good? But if I'm not doing that, and if I'm showing you something, I already, 9 times out of 10, I know that it's good. So I think that hearing the validation, it helps. But I think for me, the driving force is to know, like, my own validation is like, is it. And then like, okay, me improving. So like, to me, it's always room to grow. It's always room to learn more things. And if I'm learning something, I'm like, okay, I gained that skill. If there's something like a form of like, I know we talked about the past, different equipment, like for any sort of industry, but different like equipment, different audio pieces, different editing like styles. And I'm learning about myself and I'm like, oh, I did that. Okay. I feel fulfilled knowing that I like proficiency. Like that I did something that was a challenge for me, that I overcame something, that I didn't really have to ask for too much help. I kind of did it on my own, and it feels so fulfilling to like do that. And afterwards, I'm like, okay. It feels good when people say, oh, you're really talented. Oh, because like, it feels good when your family is like, oh, like, you're the person I go to for this. You're the person I go, right. Or not necessarily
legalese, whatever.
Not necessarily IT, but like you're the creative brain that I'm looking for. Yeah, the fulfillment, it brings me joy. Like that's where I get that happiness from. I get that joy from me. Just knowing that I'm good already in it without anybody's validation.
I think that's key. I think just being like, you know, being true to like you and just like knowing like if it's making you happy or if you feel proud of yourself, half the battle, basically the whole battle. Yeah. Continuing to be proud of yourself and your journey and where you are and where you are going to go and where you're trying to go. Being proud of that whole thing, I think imposter syndrome has no room there. If you are proud of your journey and where you at, there's no room for imposter syndrome, really. It's just, you know, yeah, sure, you may feel like, man, like, I'm not like this, or I'm not who I was, or I might have fell off, or, man, I just got lucky.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like, I don't know if you feel that, and I don't want to speak for you, but I don't know if you ever felt like, oh, my prime was like when I was like, like the young, like, you know how you feel so vibrant and so ready to like tackle the world and like showcase the world, your gifts and your talents. And as you get older, you start to kind of censor yourself a bit.
Yeah, because you care a lot about what people think.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel, you know, when you're young that it's like that joy hasn't been stricken from you yet. And as you get older, like this perception of self-doubt creeps in or uncertainties. Or caring what people think, if they like this or not, or is this your best work? Is this like, what if this last piece of work is my best work yet? Yeah. Like that is I don't want to say fear, but sometimes I think about like, what if the last thing that I created or
you don't get no better than what you just
but
did.
I know that's not true. It's just not, because it can't be. It's just not what I like to believe. So that's something that's definitely prevalent.
No, I get that. I think, I don't know if I ever had a thought like that, but I can see I can wholeheartly understand people who do. Because, well, no, I don't think so. I don't truly think so. I think, yeah, this is true. This is real too. I've had imposter syndrome for a long time, and it is to a point where it has frozen me.
Okay.
In terms of certain like creative endeavors. So like, I feel like every so often we come back and talk about contention, but like the very first film we did, I wrote it way back in 2018, 2019. Came out, we put on a whole production for the school, right? Perfectly fine. Since contention and currently right now, it's been, 2019? We're going on 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. I have not written another story since that. And I think that the driving force behind that was like, I don't know if I can do it again, or I don't know if I can like, and that's the funny thing. That movie ain't even that good to me. So like, it definitely like, you know, I became more comfortable taking a step back and just doing other roles when it comes to the films. And clearly it didn't stop the train from rolling. So, you know, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's kind of how I felt for a little while. But no, I'm back writing again, you know, but it took me 6 years. It took me 6 years wholeheartedly to go back and really like, all right, finish things. Like I would have ideas and start a little bit, and then I had to get the discipline, and I had to get out my mind, and just like, I just know that I was better than what I was when I first started. But now I had to prove it. And then it's like, well, is it really gonna be better?
Yeah.
Can I really write? Like, I know I can write, but like, can I really? Yeah, that's a prime example of imposter syndrome. Like it had me frozen. I didn't do any writing for 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah, it can feel crippling. It can just feel like, I feel like also in certain spaces, I feel like that's just normal to feel like when you put something down for a minute, it feels so crippling, and it feels also kind of like a devastation in a way. It's like, why haven't I done this? Is it because I don't think I'm good? Is my mind telling me? I'm scared if it's not going to turn out like the last thing I did. But I think the most important thing is like, you never know, because you'll like shock yourself. Like sometimes you just never know what you can put out there. If you live your life on this, I don't feel like, you'll never really know what your best potential is, or your best is yet to come. Like, don't think that your best has already happened. That might have been a great moment. That might have been a great experience, but your best is yet to come. And I feel like that's how, that's how you can attack your imposter syndrome, is like, say like affirmations like that, or tell yourself that, more is coming, and, I am an original, I'm original, and I deserve to be here. I don't think we tell ourselves enough that we deserve
the opportunities that you have.
Exactly. A lot of imposter syndrome comes from like, am I even good enough to get in this club? Am I even good enough to be in this space? And the truth of the matter is, clearly you were here, you are here, you serve a purpose here, so you deserve a spot here. You know what I'm saying? We feel like we have to fight for our spot at times, and really we don't. The only fight we should kind of have is internally with ourselves and crippling all these thoughts. But you deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. I deserve to be here in the rooms where I haven't even begun to walk in yet. I have to give myself that chance, because if you don't, you'll always be at this. You always like miss the mark or miss the opportunity, and be stuck in like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah. Just like, I might, I will. Yeah, you deserve your path. Yeah. You deserve your journey.
Yeah.
Even in the rooms that you're not even in yet, like the path that you are being prepared for, and the your goal in your life, the purpose and passions that's for you. You deserve all that.
Yeah.
And like, you just gotta remember that and just accept it.
Yeah, it's a show, well, it's an old show, but from that old show that I watched, Being Mary Jane, I I remember a lot of that show was really about her affirming herself. If you ever looked at that show in the beginning or the end of the episode, she has sticky notes all around her house, her mirrors, her, when she opens up the medicine cabinet, like reminders, quotes from, people, her pushing her. She's a journalist in her career, but she has these, affirmations of reminder of like, I deserve to be here. I'm gifted, I'm talented. And I think it's super important to instill those things. We always instill and are prepared for the negative parts, or I'm not good enough parts, or what if I don't make it, or what if I don't do it parts. But train your brain for the, I'm good enough. I deserve to be here. That's something I felt like, I don't know, what tips or advice do you give yourself, or you can give others, or to combat it? It's always gonna be there in a way, hidden behind the dark, but what can you say?
My biggest advice to combat imposter syndrome is just get it done.
Yeah.
Just do it regardless of how you feel, what you think about maybe yourself, because you're judging the food before it's even done cooking.
Oh, I love that.
Like literally you're just sitting here like, I don't know if it's gonna taste good. How about make it? Yeah. Let it sit in the oven. How about let it, do it to completion.
Mm-hmm.
Give it your best, and then we'll really know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you did fall off, but now Now it's not, I think I did. Now it's like, I know I did. Now I can, all right, what steps can I take to get back on and get back to where I was and get better than what I was? Mm-hmm. You don't know till you know. That's how I feel. Just make it to completion.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Make it to completion. Mm-hmm. If you don't prevail, like, if you never move forward and march on, you'll just be stuck in like the same old rut.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, people are passing you by. Not that matters, but in terms, you'll be passing your own self by. You're probably looking at your future self, or like, oh, I could have did this, or your past self.
Yeah, there's more coulda, shouldas.
Right. It's like, just get up and do it. And like, he was saying with the food comparison, if you feel like you're a little off, the food a little undercooked, put it back in. Cook a little more. Season it a little bit more. Let it sit, and sometimes let yourself truly like get into your zone, like mold yourself a little bit more. Sometimes I feel like we don't take the time to like cook a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like kind of get like acquainted with who we genuinely are as artists, as creatives, as people. We're so like in a rush to like race against time. But like it's okay to like get your formula together.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we nailed, imposter syndrome on the head, and I think we really like took it home.
Yes, we did.
I think from the beginning, we really just been saying it's like all about remembering who you are and what you've done. I know we talk a lot about like, in life you have to be humble, and you have to like, and you do, and you have to treat people right.
Yep.
But to yourself, everything that you've done creatively, everything you've been through, it has made you to the person that you are today. Mm-hmm. So how dare you forget all that? And it's like, you need that. You need your past to be able to live purposeful in your future. Mm-hmm. I feel like. That's
true. You're not wrong. And I hope that, you guys, take this in, and, if you ever had any imposter syndrome, it's genuinely okay. You're not alone. It happens all the time. You might feel this or that, but take heed to what we're saying. And really anyone who has any form of thought on imposter syndrome, take a listen to their experience, because I'm pretty sure there's loads of people in different industries who faced this in certain different areas and are doubting, and they persevere. So, that's to wrap that up. I'm really glad that we covered that topic. Yeah. It was very needed and necessary. And I hope you guys take from, what you can.
Whatever you need. Yeah, for
whatever
sure.
you need.
Whatever you need.
Yeah. So now we're going to dive into our, next segment, our final segment, which is our final 5.
Come on now.
It's my personal favorite after our
okay.
Not going to lie.
I didn't know we had, ranking is actually, I feel like it would be cool to do.
Yeah. It would be cool. Okay. So, I think I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I'm going to go first. I feel like this is an episode of confidence.
Yeah.
So, I know I'm going to go first.
Good. Tell me. Go first.
Okay. So, it is You Belong, Keep Creating Anyway.
Okay.
And it's just an extra validation, even like when I knew we were talking about this topic today, sitting there writing it, I was like, this is for me. This is for everyone. But I take away this for myself too, because it's like, again, like we just stated, so many times you feel like you don't belong in certain rooms, and you absolutely do. You were chosen to be in that room. For me, I personally believe like my mantra for this year is you're the chosen one, and that can be taken away in so many different, levels and areas of life. So you belong, and do it anyways. So I think it's very self-explanatory, and it answers itself.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. I think it's really good reassurance that people always need to have.
Absolutely.
My final 5 for this episode is, please always remember your why. Like why you started, why you keep going, why you're interested in that.
I love that.
It's just always remember your why. Your why will continue to motivate you and guide you. Absolutely. And, drive you. When the how, the when, the what ain't working, remember the where, remember your why. Your why is always going to be, that driving point. The why will, break out any imposter syndrome. Remember your why. That's my final 5.
That was good. We both did good. Yeah. And they're both affirmations we can take.
Come on, y'all take the affirmations.
Listen, keep on just continuing just to share this video. We have so many gems for you guys. Yes. And while we're talking to you guys, we're also affirming ourselves. And, we are not perfect. We don't have, the ingredients to everything, but we're just trying to say what we wanted to hear. Maybe there was a time that we didn't feel that we were good enough. And I feel like these are words that we want to hear. And I know you will want to hear. So we thank you for this episode. Yes, we thank you for watching this wherever you are. Make sure you check out this podcast. It's where all podcasts are found. It's where all podcasts is found. And check us out on YouTube as well. Yes, and always just keep continuing to comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's free. Always just interact with us. We're willing to interact, message us. Tell us maybe you guys should talk about this, or maybe, hey, here, maybe you guys should have this person on your podcast. We're open to all suggestions and everything. We just love doing this and affirming you and just talking about this thing that we just are in for sure. Just definitely. Yes. So once again, guys, make sure you tell a friend, share this video with your mother, your sister, your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your next door neighbor. All of them. And, once again, for creatives, by creatives. We're out. See ya.